All right, guys, what up? Bando back. This time, continuing part 3. Okay, so over here you see, obviously, here's the KLR. Haven't done anything really with it all week. Here's all the new stuff we're going to put on it in part 3, which consists of dip your car's paint kit, a gallon of black is in this box, the towels are in this box, as you see in episode 2.1. Got some LED connectors for these super light LEDs, so we can wire them up properly. Some after-car dip cleaner, and the car charger, which also came in on Monday. And the roll of Scotch tape, 3M tape. All this will be put on the bike. It's going to be probably an all-weekend job here for this thing. But behind here, you can see this is my paint booth. $100 at Menards, well, at least for the basic necessities like the fans, the PVC piping, these plastic tarps, which you're going to need a lot of them. And then inside we got some horses with some 2x4s across. I just, made them makeshift benches. And this is my door. PVC pipe that I cut off. My friend Jake actually made that. It was pretty ingenious. So this is my workstation, what's going to be inside. The shop here that I am working in is obviously pretty filthy. So I put some plastic tarps. I cover this entire area head to toe in plastic. We have 2 fans, one inlet fan with a filter to, regulate the air. That's a pretty big gap, which I'll close that off when I start spraying. And then we have an outlet fan over here, which is a newer fan, which is sucking the air out, the toxic air from the paint out of the booth. Both have high, low, and medium settings, which I'll probably put them on both medium, and they'll should function sufficiently enough. This actually has so much, it's sealed so nicely that the air will actually, if you put one fan on and just suck the air out, it will literally suck the air out of this and all the walls will close in. Or if you do it the opposite way, it blows the walls out. Yeah, this is all dirty because we were stepping on it because it was actually the floor in the beginning and now it is the ceiling. But no, so we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to jump right into it. We're going to start by, obviously, step 1, besides obviously building this magnificent paint booth. Step 1 is going to be to take the KLR650 and strip all the plates and gas tank and all that stuff. So going to take these fenders off, the rear fender off, the gas tank off, these 2 black pieces, the headlight fairing, and the front fender all have to be removed, which is probably going to take me a while. So I'm probably not going to do a time lapse because it's probably going to be like a 2-hour project just to probably rip everything off this bike. So I will come back when all the parts are in there and the bike is stripped down, ready to go for paint. So till then. Okay, and we're back. It's about, I believe, 2 hours later. Yeah, about. The KLR is now completely stripped down to literally its bare frame. As you can hear, probably Ego Beast. My buddy TJ came by and helped me out stripping this thing down to pretty much the frame. I'm siphoning the gas out of the fuel tank into a 5-gallon container, so that way I don't have to worry about that. And then after that, in our paint booth, as you can see, we have all the parts except for the fuel tank, obviously, out there that will be ready to be prepped for dip and masked off and ready for paint. And that's what we're going to be doing very soon. I'll be trying to prep this and tape off the tail light, tape off this whole center black section here. This will all be taped off. Tape off back behind the housing here. Make sure this is all taped off. The rest of these are okay. I might just flip these over and tape the back sides just to make sure. These are obviously dirty, so I'm not going to try to dip these. Try to clean up some spots here and there. Other than that, I think the gas tank just got, probably 90% of the fuel is now out of the fuel tank and into this 5-gallon gasoline container. And that's it. And the only other thing that I can really do tonight is drain the coolant out of this tank and the radiator here and put the brand new engine ice in here and in the radiator. So that's what I'll probably be doing in the meantime in between coats. Also, Eco Beast, which was just in here, which I'll have probably a video on him later with TJ, where he's going to want to do some carbon fiber vinyl wrapping. So he went right now to go get a car wash, and I'm just sitting here getting ready to get dip prepped, and we'll be getting ready to go. All right, guys, I will come back when we are ready to dip. Okay, guys, and we're back. Day 2 of the project. So I spent the last like 3 hours last night, or 2 hours, masking all of these parts off. So now we're all ready to go for paint. I just put a coat of cleaner on it just to make sure and double check that there's no impurities in the surfaces, and make sure there's no chemical bonds anywhere that could affect the Plastidip from hardening to the parts here. On here, wiped them all down really good. Been watching the dip your car step-by-step how to Plastidip your car tutorial one last time to make sure I don't miss anything. And then we're gonna go ahead and start dipping. Have some of the kit stuff here, some of my tools. My mechanic actually, from my dad's mechanic, actually was in the shop today, and he built me this awesome bench. I can't thank him enough for it. So it keeps everything nice and sturdy and tidy, actually, which is really cool. Here's my list of heel and wet areas to make sure that I don't miss anything. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and pull out the gallon of dip, which is under my laptop, blend it up and get the dip in the gun and set the turbine up, and hopefully we can start spraying this thing, so that way I can actually, you know, get this done. Alright, I'll come back when we got the first coat on. Okay, guys, this is the first coat. It's been about 20 minutes after I applied it. Actually, that's not that bad. There was a run right here, but you can still kind of see it, because that was my very first spray. I sprayed that, I had a test spray on the board here, but then I started spraying, and I didn't realize that the dip actually from the gun actually comes out really, really fast. So you kind of want to pepper it a little bit. You don't want to hold the trigger down and like go back and forth like they were doing in the videos, well, especially in my case. So you can see kind of there's a little run there. I'm not too worried about it. Actually, I'm okay with it now since it dried up a little better on the gas tank. This was the very first piece I sprayed, by the way. But this is the first coat. You know, you don't want to put it on too heavy. I kind of was just moving with it. I'm giving it plenty of time to dry up. I want to make sure that it's fully dry before I move on to the next step. So I figured I'd give it 20-25 minutes. This is the headlight. These two black fenders, these are the hardest pieces to tell because they're black already, so it's very hard to tell how much dip you put on these because you can't really see it with black on black. So I'm just going just a little at a time, and hopefully it covers everything up that I can get. I might have missed, I kind of missed right here a little bit, so I got to do that. There's a lot of angles you got to get. And then here's the two blue side fender pieces, the first coat. So yeah. Everything's looking well. Here's the dip your car sprayer and the turbine. This is the basic kit I got. I didn't get the pro kit. But everything's going well. I'm just going to stir up the cup, put my respirator back on, and keep going at it, and just layer by layer it, you know, until we're completely got solid coverage, and I'm just giving it enough time to dry in between coats because I don't really want to do anything and mess it up. And over here, I don't know if I mentioned this in the first part or not, but my dad's mechanic came and he built me this awesome bench. I can't thank him enough for taking an hour out of his day to build me this freaking awesome bench. So I have all my parts and everything set up. I have my laptop open in case I need information. Got all this. I got my peel when wets here still. These are supposed to go with the LED lights over here. That's also tape for these. My respirator I got from dipyourcar.com. Dip your car stickers, you know. Here's the cone filter, which is kind of stuck to that. The gallon of black, all my tools. Also, I was gonna plan on doing the radiator flush, but mechanic recommended just to wait until the paint is completely 100% dry before even attempting this, because you don't want to get any of this stuff apparently on the parts that you're trying to paint, because it will be very, very bad. So we're going to go ahead and wait on that. We're not going to attempt to drain this until after the paint has been dried. on the parts and we start building it back together. So, all right, till the next part. All right, guys, day number 3 on part 3. Taking a lot longer than I expected. I ran into a lot of problems trying to use this system. Not really problems, just hiccups. So here I have my whole gallon of black Plastidip is gone. The last of it's in the gun. And this is so far what the parts look like. So these are already done. So this is what the black looks like. For now, they're going to be painted blue. These two here are drying because I had to flip them over because I had to spray under the fender here to get it black. I also had to spray under the headlight housing because there was a lot of silver still left here along the turn signals on either side. So I wanted to cover this nice and tight with black. Also get the under curve of this edge black, which is going to turn out phenomenal. This is the very first coat on this side. The underside of it's all done already. So, I mean, as you can see under here, it's all nice and dark. But I'm trying to hit it mainly next to the headlight in this area and this area over here to try to get this to blend in better. And these pieces are pretty much done too. These two are completely done. This is after about 12 hours of dry time after the last coat. I put about 6 coats of black on all of these, except for obviously these two underneath. They just started. And these two are done. The only thing I had a problem with was right down to the last second when I was dipping these two. The gun dipped 4 drops of Plastidip on my bike fender here. So this one doesn't look like it's still gonna be there. These two that are in here though actually kind of blended in a little better. I kind of made them blend. I used a paper towel and tried to dab as much of it out as I possibly could without wrecking it. But these two, unfortunately, you can still kind of tell that there was a dab of dip there. But yeah, it's slowly progressing along. It's just, well, trust me, guys, when you're doing this, always take a lot more time than what you need to get this done, please. And also, I'm going to have to go to the hardware store because I'm going to need to buy some paint thinner because I didn't really realize I put about 3 coats through this gun, and I'm waiting like 25-30 minutes in between coats. And apparently the Plastidip, since obviously it's going to harden over time, it actually clogged the gun up, and I had to use quite a bit of paint thinner to kind of get it unclogged. There's also like a little air inlet about right here that's under this side of the gun coming up, and if this air inlet is clogged, you'll never get the dip out. You'll keep pulling the trigger and nothing will happen. But I mean, so far the kit's worked great. I mean, I still got a lot to do. I plan to be here for probably the next 8 hours to try to finish this project. I mean, I'm not going to bore you guys. At least with the paint, I'm going to be here for 8 hours. I'm not going to bore you guys much longer though. But this is just a quick overview of how everything looks so far, and hopefully when I come back, it'll be time to start the Mako and see where it goes from there. Alright guys, while I was waiting for the dip to dry behind me, I would have made the luxury of wiring up the car charger here. So the moment of truth, let's see if the old charger works. Okay. Maybe I need a fuse in there, I don't know. Maybe I need a 10 amp fuse to put in there so that way it works. Not exactly sure, because do my fog lights come on? Oh. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, my fogs come on. So it must mean I need a 10 amp fuse in there to make it operate, so let me just do that. Alright, sure enough, guys, I went and changed the fuse out, put the fuse in this slot, and we got power. It's saying my phone's charging, so we know that this adapter is live and it's working. Oh, there it goes. It actually lights up. I didn't know that. Cool. And if it's blue, it matches the LED for the fog switch. Awesome. Okay, so we know that works. So at least that's one part of it done. I'm going to probably go back and put another layer of dip on and come back when I start trying to wire this up and get the LED lights over there, hopefully starting to run the wiring for that. So I'll update when I get back to that. Alright guys, I'm back. I'm about to apply the 4th coat of black to the underside. Took a break for a minute because while I was wiring up, so I'll turn the key on. While I was wiring up this fancy dancy car charger, which is still active, I also took the liberty of wiring these lights up. Here's the circuitry board for it, which I actually have to undo the wires that are connected to the box here. Because I forgot how the hell am I supposed to put the damn cover back on the box without doing that. So I have to drill a hole on this side of the box. I soldered the connections to the back of the positive and ground wires, which my buddy Pete has the same board, so he showed me how to. Not bad for my first time soldering ever in my life. Then these 2 wires run up. The IR sensor's up here, which is not going to be here, but it'll be up here somewhere on the top of the bike. So I can activate it by remote control. Here's the LED strip. This is just plugged into this right now. This won't be like this because there's connectors. There's little tiny connectors that I'm going to have running down throughout the bike, and these LEDs will be cut accordingly so that way they fit correctly. There's a little tiny plastic strip on the top. I have to peel this away, cut at the connection points, and then crimp the other side. But as of right now, to test it, they work. Red, green, blue, white, orange, teal, purple, pink, sky blue, yellow, whatever I want. Also, I can have, you know, maybe, I think, yeah, DIY, 3, I don't know. I gotta set this up, but I have auto, so you can flash. So yeah, I don't plan on using the flash or the autos while I'm riding, but I will probably go with a solid white or a solid blue color, and those will be ran. Not the whole. This whole thing won't be. I mean, maybe not. I don't plan on running this whole roll through the bike. I plan on just running it behind the fairings that sit here. One piece along the back tail section between the black fender that's up there and the actual tail piece underneath. I'll have it mounted upside down under that so it shines down on the black. And some other points in the bike, like up here at the front, I was going to put one right here under this so it shines down on the front fender, and some behind here to shine down on the engine bay. So that'll be that. Mainly I don't want to go below the head pipe because otherwise you're going to see these LED lights, and I don't really want that. I wanted to keep it just a glow. So, but the circuitry board does work. I didn't fuck it up by soldering too much and ruining it, so that's good. And we're going to continue on with Keep It On Dipping, and I'll see you guys when I update next.
Okay guys, and we're back. Had to run to the hardware store. Got my face mask on because I'm about to spray the Mako. Picked up, let me just take this.
Oh, there we go. Picked up some heat shrink tubing, some wire ties, some lighters, rip tape, because I made a wiring harness here. It's pretty long. I mean, as you can see, it's probably overkill, but it runs the whole length of the bike. It's going to run all the way up here. I don't know if I want this box on this side of the bike or the other side. But as you can see, I attached put a hole in the box, so these connectors do work. I don't know about the wiring because I tapped it. I just cut this open and I tapped each of the wires. I color coded to match. I wrapped them every couple inches in grip tape because I wanted to make sure that it stayed kind of together. I want to kind of probably go over this when it's completely done and wrap it all the way around, all the way down the bike, so that way it's completely sealed. But I kind of wanted to get an idea of what this is going. This is the color my bike's going to be. That is fucking cool as shit. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry. I'm like swearing my head off, but that is like beautiful. That is awesome. It's like a blue-green mix, which is really cool. So that's going to go on next. All the black has already been prepped and dried. We're going to go ahead and put it in the cup, and we're going to go ahead and start spraying it. I'll come back when we have that first coat on and see how it starts to shape up. Okay guys, after a couple more hours of work, I kind of cleaned up this area. This wiring harness is ran. For the most part, I'm going to tackle this job another day. Got my buddy Pete going to come by and help out. Help me we're trying to devise a plan to get these wires to split and we can wire them up correctly without damaging this, because we don't really want to mess with this a lot. So I ran the wiring harness through the bike as a temp thing. Here is the bike how she looks now. This is with 4 coats of Mako on most of the pieces. These 2 over here, I used whatever was left in the cup to just spurt as much of this as on here as possible to give it a shine to it. So it's still probably kind of tacky. Same thing with under here. Because this I tore off. This is what the bike used to look like, this silver. Now it looks like this blue and black, which is really killer. And it'll come off really easily when it is time to take this off. It should come off nice and easy. Here's the side panels. How they look now versus how they looked in the beginning. It's a really nice, I call it like a Royal Navy blue. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little lighter than that, but I think it's more towards that navy blue style, which really doesn't bother me. I was really looking for a light blue, but I didn't really take in consideration how dark the black was going to make the paint, the Mako. So it's actually pretty dark. If I probably went with a white base coat, it probably would have made it a light blue and it would have really stood out. But, you live and you learn and you keep going on. So this is how they look. And we're going to keep continuing to roll. I'm going to roll this fender over. I'm also going to roll that over, and hopefully that this is dry. This won't touch, the underside of this won't touch the wood here, so that's fine. I'm just worried about this guy here. Like, those 2 have to touch the ground, so I'm hoping that this is, not really wet. I don't think it is, because I let it dry for like 30 minutes. And we're going to load up the last quart, which I have 1 quart left, and it's probably going to be 2 coats of gloss, pure gloss over this. And we'll see where that takes me. Hopefully it'll give it a nice shine to it, and it'll look almost like car paint. So, all right, until then, peace. All right, guys, part 3, second thing done with the bike. She's now painted. And now I'm just waiting on everything to dry up. Probably going to call it a night. And come back another day to attack the LED underglow lights to install, as well as the coolant flush is the only other thing, which is I found there's a drain at the bottom of the skid plate, and you just undo it, and it's really easy. So other than that, and then just having to put everything back together without trying to damage the new paint work that I just made. Total time of paint, probably about 18 to 20 hours. So if you're really serious about painting a bike, an entire bike, not just like your gas tank or something, but the entire thing, if you want to do it right, yeah, you're looking at about 18 to 24 hours of work. I mean, it literally took me 3 hours to mask this entire thing off. I mean, if you had tape and drape or something, you could have probably did this. I could have did this faster, but she looks really, really good now. I'm really impressed by the paint work from Dip Your Car. I mean, this is all Plastidip. The total kit with everything probably cost me like $350. I'd like to estimate just on the dipping material and stuff, and the stuff I got in the Dip Your Car kit and the basic kit. I mean, overall, the project for the paint probably cost between $600 and about $700 because of having to go to Menards, buy all this other paint stuff to build this temporary booth, which you don't really need to do. You don't really need a temporary paint booth. I mean, I just did it because it's cleaner. It's a cleaner cleanup when you're done. So, I mean, if you want to do it right, yeah, $600 to $700 to do the paint right. But, I mean, obviously, look at the quality. I mean, it shows. I can't wait to get the bike back together and outside on the street and do some photos and see how it actually looks. I mean, yeah, the only thing I kind of cringe about is this. Like these little tiny silver spots. That's because of the tape. I didn't get it, I guess, close enough to the edge as I thought I did, or like behind the edge. But other than that, I mean, what are you going to do about it, I'm not going to worry about it. The rest of the bike looks fantastic also. I mean, I'm not really going to, you really ain't going to notice unless you stare, but I can't wait. I'm going to keep trucking along here. And that's the end of, I should say, for part 3, day 3. And we're going to continue onward to get the rest of the bike back together and get some underglow so it makes it look even more sexy. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.